Hello everyone! Today you are going to learn how to create a sign-up form in PHP. I'm going to teach you guys how to make the previous video work in PHP. My name is Diogo Veigas and watch until the end so you don't find many bugs in your code, since I'm sure that this is going to be tricky for you. First thing that we are going to do is going to be open XAMPP. With XAMPP opened, I want you to open the PHP MyAdmin, clicking in this button here. And with this, we are going to create a database, but I'm going to do it through SQL, so it is going to be more portable, and you can put it there and you see everywhere. First thing that we are going to do is creating the database itself. So we are going to create database. If not exists, we are going to put this name My Shopping, that I was already trying out so I don't fail too much in your video. My Shopping. After that, we are going to use it. Use My Shopping. Okay, it's not equals. Let me just. Okay, there we go. My Shopping. After this, we are going to create a table. Create table users. And before the users, we need to put if not exists. And then we are going to open it with the normal brackets. Okay, there we go. And the attributes that you want for the table are going to be the ID, which is going to be int and primary key. After this, you also want to have an email, which is going to be varchar, and he is going to have 50 characters at max. And you are also going to put it not null. You are also going to put a username. You can put it before username varchar 50, not null. We are going to also have a password, which can have up to 250 characters, just because you are going to hash it, so it will be way bigger than it is. You are also going to have the created at and the updated at. Just if you want to learn how to apply it, I'm going to show you guys. Now we are going to put both date time and with the second being default current timestamp. This is how the table is going to be, but we are also going to put unique in both email and username. You can have your differently. I just recommend the not null, the unique, it's up to you. Now, lastly, we are going to put a really nice command up here that is going to be great to test things out. Imagine that you want to refresh a database. What you are going to do, you are going to put drop database if exists my shopping. And with this, you can copy this and store wherever you want and click to go. And this will always refresh. If you check here, it's with no data. You are going to open the Visual Studio Code, and inside the website folder, you are going to create a new folder called MySQL, and you are also going to create a new file called database.sql. And I'm going to store this here so you do not forget where it is. After this, you are going to create a connection file in PHP, yes. And to create it, we are going to create a new file called connection.php. You can put whatever name you want. It's going to be the connection between the database and your login. Now guys will think that I'm trolling you, but I'm going to really just paste it, because it is always the same thing. But I can explain it to you. We are going to define some global variables, which being database server, the local host, as we are poor and we only have a local host. The database username is going to be root, always root if you are doing in your own local host. Database password, you never will have a password. And if you know how to set one, you must also know what it is. And the database name, that's what you need to be wary of, because if you do not use this name, My Shopping, you need to change it here in the database name variable. After this, we are going to attempt to connect to the database, but instead of putting this like this, we are going to use the link. So it gets a little bit less confusing, more organized, and safer for the next versions in PHP. After that, we are going to try to connect. If not, we just give an error, because if we do, we just keep continuing doing the stuff that we want to. Now, before anything else, we are going to go to the sign up in your local host, because it's where you can use your PHP files. This is the login, and this is the sign up. We have the sign up like this. You don't know if you remember, but with the floating text and all. You'll need to change the type of your file. Instead of HTML, it needs to go to PHP, because we are going to start coding in it. But if you ask me, why don't we use the form and send the data to another file and keep this in one HTML? Because it's way safer if we do it in the same file. Now let's go to the enter and give some space to the login. Do not need to give it so much, it's just so we do not get confused. Now we are going to open the PHP and we are also going to close it. After this we are going to include this connection file, so we are going to rename it, select all and include once. Now we are including the connection.php. And what does it do? It's simply like copying this code and pasting it in the top. So let's just continue. We are also going to assign all the variables that we want to use in the future to empty. Not null, but empty. And what are they? Username, the email, the password, and the confirm password. Yes, and I forgot, this syntax is only for Java. And not even JavaScript, but for Java. In here you need to say that they are all equals in PHP. There you go. Now everything is assigned as empty. But we also will have some error message. And to do that, we are going to simply use the Shift, Alt and down arrow, and it is going to copy it. After that, we are going to simply add this error thing after the underscore. So we are going to copy this and paste it in all of them. Now we also have the attributes and the error message empty. Now we are going to start by checking the type of connection that we are going to use. In here in the form, I'm not going to put it yet, but the action is going to be to itself. That's why we are going to click in the submit and we are going to come here. And we are also going to put the method post, as I showed you before in a previous video about contact forms, I think. And we are going to check if it is post or not. Now, if the method is actual post, we are going to check if the username is or not empty. We are already doing that with Bootstrap, but imagine that it is not working in a moment, or you just want to be safe. You must use this empty. Check if it is empty or not. And the reason why we are using this trim is to remove both left and right and all blank spaces that are all toward the string. Imagine that I put a space after or before by mistake. I just trim it. And if so, if it is empty, the error message that we just assigned to empty is going to be enter a username please. If this works out good, we are going to put a preg match with a regex. And this is going to only and simply check if it has letters, numbers and underscores. If it has anything else, it will not allow it to pass through. And yes, of course, always trimming the username. And after checking if the username is set and also the username only contains letters, numbers and underscores, we are going to check if there's anyone with already this username. So we are going to select the ID from users where the username is equals to the username that you want. We just put the question mark here because we are going to create a statement. After this we are going to make other if statement. Now to prepare the statement, we are going to check if the answer of this link from here, the connection, and SQL, the SQL query, is true or false, because if the answer is true, we are going to continue it. But if the answer is false, so if the link or the SQL are not good and cannot proceed, we are going to simply go to the else afterwards. But for now, we are going to bind this parameter to put in here with the parameter username. Now to set the parameter, you are going to put parameter username, just the same thing as you put here, and you are going to trim this username from the post. And now we are going to create another, which is going to simply check if the statement is going to be able to make. And lastly, we are going to make an if. And we are going to execute it inside the if, because if it does not work, we can simply put else and go on. We do not need to store the result of it and check it later. Now, with the statement made, we are going to store the result if it goes all alright, and we are going to check the amount of rows. If the rows are equals to 1, it's because the username is already taken. Else, because if the code is going to work properly and the table also is unique, this table name, we cannot have more than 1. We can only have 1 or 0. So if it's not 1, it's 0. And if it hasn't and it is not, we are going to store this trimmed username from the method post, and we are going to put it in the username, the variable that we created up here. And now, for the insert, we already have one of the attributes. There's only 3 left. Now, finally, we are just going to keep closing the stuff up which is simply going to be, yes, around here. Exactly. Okay, now it's already closed. So if the statement is not working properly, if it gives us an error message, we are going to say that something went wrong. And please try again. And you are going to close the statement after all, because it doesn't matter if it works or not, we are going to close it anyways, okay? After this, you are going to validate the email, which is really the same thing as before. I will just say the little differences. The little difference is because instead of username, we are going to put email in everywhere possible. In here, in the filter var, instead of using the preg match to use regex, we are going to simply put filter var, and we are going to put email to filter this variable. We are going to apply the filter validate email, which is simply going to really fast validate if it is in email or not. Yes, Bootstrap calls you to put an arroba, and after the arroba, something after it, but it is not really a nice email validation. It's a fast one. This way, you are going to completely validate it perfectly. Now we are going to still use the same things, try a valid email. We are going to select ID from users where the email itself was from this one, because we are not going to duplicate emails as well. Email, and it's really pretty much the same thing. Right after this, we are going to start validating the password. And to validate it, we are going to check if it is empty or not, and if it is, we are going to ask for another password. Then we are going to start checking the size of it, if it has a measure of 6 or not. We are going to trim it before, because if it has blank spaces, it could be a little bit smaller. So we are going to use the sortlen with the trim. And if it does not have enough characters, we are going to ask for at least 6 characters, and if you want to change, we could change the 6 for 3 or for 10, whatever you want. And even if you don't want to have a minimum space for password, you could even remove it. And lastly, we are going to reassign the password for the trimmed password version of what we got from the form. Now, coming to an end, the confirm password, it's the same as the password, but we are going to change the confirm before. But the else, it's completely different. We are going to assign this confirm password to the trimmed version of what we got, and we are going to check if the password error it's empty, because if it's not empty, we do not need to put the confirm password error, because it does not make sense saying that it has not a 6 characters and saying that the password did not match. We only say that they match if the password agree with the rules that we put. And here, it's just the same thing, right? If they do not match, we are going to assign an error. Lastly, we are going to prepare the last input errors. So, we are going to check if all of them are empty, because if any error is actually filled, it's because something happened, and this way we are not going to do anything else. But if there's no errors, we are going to start the preparement of the statement. And we are going to have the username, email, and password inserted, which is why we have 3 different question marks. After this, we are going to make another condition. We are going to try to prepare this statement with the link from here and the SQL query that we just wrote here. Now we are going to bind every variable to the place. So we are going to say that there's 3 different parameters from this statement, and we are going to put these 3 parameters. Now, just as previously, we need to assign the parameters. And the last one, which is a little bit different, we are going to password hash the password with password hash. Okay? Just because it's very safer than encrypting, because if you crypt something, you can decrypt it. You can code and decode, but password hash, you cannot do that. After all of this, you are going to attempt to execute the prepared statement. And if it actually works, we are going to set yourself to the index.html or wherever your page is named, because my page is index.html, the login form, because after you sign up, you want to log in. And if you cannot, well, something went wrong, please try again later. That's the else for the statement error. Then we close the statement, and the right final, in the lastly final, we are going to close all the curly brackets that were opened, right, these 2, and we are going to close the MySQL link, which is going to be this connection. We are going to close the whole connection to the database. Now that we already have it, we are going to go to the signup.php in your link, and it's here, the .php, your website. We are going to try to make a login, okay? We are going to put like this. Not a login, we are going to try to sign up. Password is going to be hello, and I agree with the terms. Now we submit. Yes, we got a lot of errors. And they are all the same errors. Why is it? Because you did not make the proper change in your sign up form. And those changes are, one of them, having this space after the sign, okay? Another thing that you also need to do is applying the names. And I've already showed you in the contact form, but you need to put a name in every input. So the first is going to be username, and you are also going to change the name for username. You are going to apply the name for the email as email. You are going to apply the password for password, and you are going to apply the password confirm to password confirm. I think that, let me check how it is in up here. Confirm password. Okay, let's go, let's copy it. And now we are going to refresh the page. And it is not going to work, so I'm going to put here the link again. We are going to put lore. Okay, it's here, okay. Now the password, I'm going to put something valid, lore123. Lore123, in here you saw that it is. I'm going to submit. And we already created it. Users, and there you go. The ID of 0, the lore, the name we put, the email, it's not working, I don't know why. We need to check it out. The password, which is going to be hashed. They created that when it was created, and the updated, which is null because it is not ever updated. Now let's debug it and check why the email is not working. Email, exactly, email. Of course. Look at this. Who made this? Who touched my computer and put this dot? I don't know, but now it should be working. Let's just go back, refresh the page, put lore again, but instead of being lore, it's going to be lore123 and lore123 gmail, lore123, lore123. We are going to agree with the terms, and we are going to submit it. Oops, something went wrong. Please try again later. Yes. We could not have it. I'm going to create it again. Let's check it out. Signup.php. And we are also going to search for email. And there's not any more errors, I expect. I'm going to use this my other account, the as-does. Now we're going to put lol123. We agree with the terms and submit it. Something went wrong. Please try again later. Okay. The errors are coming up and I don't know what to do. So since we are getting a lot of errors, we are going to start showing the errors to the user, which will help him create a new account. The first thing that we are going to do is applying this action and putting this thing in the action. Inside the action, we are going to go to the PHP self, and we are going to use to keep the HTML special characters, because if they want to go somewhere else that they are not supposed to go with some special characters that convert into other special characters, we keep them and do not allow them to do it. After this, we are going to apply this class to the username. We are going to open the PHP and close it, of course. We are going to echo the class, so it is going to simply print the class into the class space, and it is going to apply this is invalid, and this is only going to happen if this is not empty, if there's an error, because this is a shorthand of an if in PHP. And after this, we are going to apply the value of the username in it, so we can tell the user what's the username that he put that's not valid. Now we're going to put the pretty much thing in everywhere, in the email, of course, in the class, don't forget, always in the class, in the password as well, and in the confirm as well. After applying everything to the class and to the value, we are going to add this before the label. Not before, but after, which is going to be the span. A span with invalid feedback, which is going to have the error itself. And you're going to apply it to everywhere. To the email, to the password, and also to the confirm password. And I'm going to remove this and copy it and paste it again, because I've put some margin top 3 so it doesn't get too close to the error message. And another thing that I changed a bit, it's this href. Instead of have the wall already have an account in an anchor, you're just going to put the click here in an anchor. The rest is going to be plain text. Now we are going to test it again. We are going to sign up, here we go, and we are going to put the lower email, but with a different name and a different email. Password, hola, 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 hola. Okay, now we're going to agree with the terms of use, and it is something wrong again. I'm going to stop the video and try to find it out. I'm back, guys, and I somehow found it. If you can see, I searched for the MySQL statement error so I could check the description of the error. And I've marked here numbers so I could check where the problem is and duplicate enter for 0 key primary key. And I was so stupid to the point that I just didn't put the auto increment in here, which is really important, since it is the thing that our users keep registering themselves and creating automatic new IDs, and I didn't do it. So I'm going to update the whole database. SQL, here, go, SQL, there you go, no, now it is gone. We are going to remove this statement error because we are not going to have an error anymore, ever. And we are going to go to the page again. In here, we're going to go back. There we go. Now we're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Submit it, and we got signed up. And the reason that we can see that we got signed up, it's because we got redirected to the login page. Now in the users, you could see that it is already logged in. Now we are going to create another account with the same name. We are going to try it at least. Both the name and the email were already taken. So we are going to put the name, again, the same, copy this. We are going to put the same email, but not another name. We need to always agree with the terms, and it is going to say that the email is already taken. So what we need to do is pick another email. I'm going to agree with it, and we could create it. So yeah, the email verification is not so good, but it's something, right? You might want to try to enhance your email regex if you want to. And this is it, guys. I think that I could explain you a lot of new things now. I just had this thing, really, the sign up with the space, but don't forget, I'm going to reinforce it, of course. The name, the inputs have to have a name so they can be called through PHP. Another thing that we also learned, that doing it within the same document is going to be safer for you later. And one another thing is that if you guys have any problem, any doubt, you can comment your problem in the comments. I will always try to help you. I know that not many of you really comment or even watch my videos, but if I'm in help of you, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you soon.